All right, let's talk about adding some CSS to our projects. The idea is instead of having style here, you can have link a separate page to have your CSS file. Now, the reason being is sometimes when you get into big websites, you're going to have thousands of lines of CSS and then hundreds or thousands of lines of HTML. They're all going to be on one page. It's going to get sloppy. It's going to be hard to read. So the idea is to separate your CSS, which is the styling, from your HTML code. So to do that, what we're going to do is we need to make a separate file, so new file, and we'll go to type in styles.css. Now, you can name this anything you want. It could be index.css, it could be my styles, it could be Huga Booga. It doesn't matter what it is. But typically you would want to name it something that's relative or something that easily recognizable. So I'm going to name mine styles.css. So I can take this image, CSS here, I can cut that out, save it, and I can paste it in here. So now that the CSS is in this separate file, we need to link our HTML page to know that this style sheet is our style sheet. So we'll go up to our head, because remember this is the content for the browser, information for the browser, and we will type in link. If you hit tab, it's automatically going to type out the rest. So the idea is link, and inside you have REL, which is relationship, is style sheet, because this is the style sheet for our HTML, and then href, which is, we all know that is the reference to our the link basically, and our link is going to be styles.css, and then we save it, and we will see that our image is go back to the 200 pix height because our CSS is now linked. So now that we have all these different files in here, you notice that it's getting kind of sloppy. I have this other folder that we're going to go into later. We have this images here, we have videos here, we have styles over here, we have audio here. So the idea is, what you should do is have a resources folder. I don't know what I was typing there, but resources. And you want to move, so we want to move that, yes. We'll move our images in there, move. So now our resource folder has all of our files in there. Now let's add a audio folder, audio, and we'll put that MP3 in there. We want to move it. Let's say don't ask again. And our style sheet, so one more folder, which is going to be our CSS. And typically you would have a JS file as well, a folder rather. We will be going into that much later. So now we have just one resource folder. So when you do that, you just keep in mind that you need to change all your links to have resources. So add resources there, resources here, and if I save it, you can see that the images come back. This is interesting that the style is still fine. Oh, there it is, because I didn't save. Resources, we'll save. And remember, it's actually in our CSS folder, so we'll do that. So you gotta make sure you dig down. So the resources, CSS, so that's two folders down, and that's what the slash is. So resources slash CSS slash styles.css, and then our page goes back to working with that code. Now, the other thing I wanted to go over before we move on is using, let's say that, using external links. So let's say you wanted to add Bootstrap. So Bootstrap is a CSS, pre-made CSS for whatever project you want to use, right? So let's look up Bootstrap Cdn. So Bootstrap Cdn, this is basically, CDN basically is just a deposit or repository of files, and the Bootstrap files live on that server that we can easily link to our project. Now, if we go to that first link here, bootstrapcdn.com, you're going to see this is the complete CSS, which we'll just click to copy, and then that will be our link. So go in here, we'll type in link, and then as our href, we're going to paste in that copied link there. And now in our project, you see the font kind of changed, but now the CSS is usable. So now if I were to type in div, and I move all this stuff in, to move a file up and down like I'm doing right now, I am holding Alt, and I'm using the up and down arrows. So I'll move that into the div folder, and I'm going to add class equals container. So now you notice how that shifted everything over because it's inside of a container. Now, class we have not gone over yet, so let's take a look at what class is. Image has been changed in our style CSS by using image, and then inside that we put our height, right? So to make a class, what we would do is we would say, let's make another div, and I want to make a class, and I'm going to name it my class, right? And inside, let's just do a paragraph. Hello, I am a paragraph. So we save that. Now, to make this changed with our my class, what we will do is go in our style CSS, and we'll put dot, which is a representative of class. That lets the CS know that we are using a class, and we'll put my class curly brace, and inside there you can type in whatever type of things you want. So you can type in background. Well, let's do color. Let's do color because we know color from earlier, and we'll do red. We save that, and now you can see that our paragraph has turned red because it is using the my class CSS. All right. So now when we have this class, we can do things like add backgrounds, we can add images, whatever we want, all in a separate file. So let's add another div. Well, let's set the height of this paragraph, or this div, to height, and we'll make it 400 pixels, right? So now to tell that it's actually 400 pixels, I'm going to add a border so you actually can see it. So we'll add a border. Now don't worry too much about the CSS if you don't know what's going on. This is more just for showing you how to do a background real quick. So I set this to 300 pixels. Now that's the height of this paragraph. And I want to add a background. Now the reason we want to add a background here, instead of just adding images, say you wanted to put text on top of it. Or, yeah, put text on top of it. You cannot just put on text easily using HTML. To do that, you want to use CSS, right? So we'll say background image, and how we add it is URL, and then you can just link whatever image you want. So I'm going to grab, let's say, this image number 2. So we'll do, and we link it. So now, keep in mind, when you're linking, just like you have to rue the path from here, so this is, you got to go down to resources, CSS, styles. The same thing applies in CSS, but CSS is in a different location, right? CSS is down here. So we have to move up a folder. So we got to go up a folder, which is dot dot, which means going up. 1 dot means current folder. So you could actually have / in front of this resources, and that means in our current working directly, find this. Right, so you see that nothing changed there. So dot dot, 2 dots, means go up a folder. So go up a folder. So now we're in the resources folder. And then now we go to image /7.jpg, enter quote, and save. So now we see part of this image, and we can only see a part of it. So let's do background size and cover. Now that will actually stretch it out so that it actually fits. Now notice this paragraph is still there because it's inside that same div. So this paragraph is inside the div, and then the background of the div is the image. Now that is all the CSS we're really going to get into right now. Because we are going to use some CSS classes for our project for HTML. So just to light them out, just the classes and maybe a image with text on it. Just, very basic to give it a little more oomph. All right. So the only other thing to cover real quick is comments. Now, when you have code, a lot of times if you have lines and lines and lines of code, you want to get to explain what it is. So like this section right here, say like this was like the main starter section of my website. What I would do is I would write open bracket exclamation dash dash, and that signifies, you see how I closed it already? That signifies that is a comment. Now this comment is not going to be showing up on the website, it only shows up in the code, and then you can say this is the starter section, and this could be like this. This is the main image of site. So comments kind of like that, and you don't have to go crazy and have everything commented. But if there's general sections of websites, so when you go to whatever main site, like if I were to go to YouTube, I could say like this is the hero image. This is the main dashboard, and these are the videos. So you would just kind of separate your different sections out. Same for if you're in your CSS file and you want to have code. How it works is you would have slash and then a asterisk and then whatever code. So this is for the main image, and then asterisk and dash. And that's how you comment code. And CSS for this will be very useful. We will go much more deeper into commenting it later on when we get into larger websites. But be aware of adding comments. So now you have all the information that you need to make your first site.